Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever wondered what it would feel like to wake up every morning knowing without a shadow of a doubt that success is not just possible, but inevitable? Imagine living a life so deliberately designed, so aligned with your purpose, that every step you take moves you closer to your goals. This isn't about chasing luck or waiting for the right opportunity to knock. This is about building a life brick by brick that guarantees your success. It's about taking control of your time, your habits, your mindset, and your environment in such a powerful way that failure becomes the exception, not the rule. If you've ever felt stuck, lost, or like your potential is being wasted, then this message is your wake-up call. Because today we're going to break down how to create a life so intentional, so focused, that success isn't a matter of if, but when. It's the kind of thing that gets you out of bed with purpose. It turns problems into manageable tasks, setbacks into lessons, and makes success feel not just possible, but expected. The critical point is this: your vision should not feel far off or vague. It shouldn't feel like a distant dream. It must feel tangible, achievable, and powerful enough to stir a deep emotional response, one that naturally drives you to act. The common mistake people make is building a vision that lacks energy. They aim for what feels reasonable, comfortable, or safe, something that doesn't challenge or inspire them. And because their vision is weak, so is their drive, their consistency falters, and the results remain mediocre. A strong vision must meet three criteria. It should be clear, emotionally compelling, and deeply aligned with who you are. Clarity gives you direction, emotion brings urgency, connection ensures long-term commitment. So ask yourself, what is your vision? Not just what you want, but what you're willing to work for, commit to, and make sacrifices for. A real vision doesn't stop at inspiration. It moves you to act. This isn't about wishful thinking or making a list of hopes. It's about crafting a vision that is so meaningful that taking action becomes a natural response. A powerful vision simplifies your choices. It silences distractions. It turns fear into background noise. And once you create that kind of vision, one that resonates deep within, motivation stops being an issue. You won't need outside encouragement. You won't hesitate or second guess your direction because your vision becomes the internal compass that leads everything you do. But it all begins with clarity. If you can't picture it vividly, describe it in detail, or feel it as if it already exists, then what you have is not a vision, it's only an idea. And ideas don't create change. Visions do. Many people never build a clear vision. They speak in general terms. They want success, more income, or a better lifestyle, but such vague desires don't register strongly in the brain. They don't trigger urgency or emotion, and without that, action is unlikely. To have power, your vision must be precise. It should engage your senses. You should be able to visualize it, hear it, feel it. It should play like a scene in your mind before it happens in real life. You must be able to close your eyes and live it mentally. If your vision is about achieving financial independence, what does that actually look like? How much do you earn? Where do you live? What kind of home surrounds you? What daily experiences do you enjoy? Who's there with you? What does it feel like to wake up without financial stress? If your goal involves physical health, picture the kind of energy you have. What shape is your body in? What routines feel easy now that once felt difficult? Imagine the experience of living in a healthy, energized body. If your goal is to build something, a company, a legacy, or an impact, what does it look like in action? How does it function? Who does it help? What kind of influence does it create in the world? What does a normal day look like once you've achieved it? What feeling do you get when you see the difference your work makes? The more precise your vision is, the more it becomes a mental reality. And when that happens, your mind shifts from dreaming to doing. But clarity alone isn't enough. Your vision must be emotionally charged. It needs to create such strong feelings that not taking action becomes uncomfortable. If your vision doesn't excite you or make you feel genuinely moved, it won't inspire consistent effort. This emotional link is what separates goals that get done from goals that get forgotten. People often write down objectives and set timelines, but without emotional engagement, they lack urgency. Emotion is the catalyst for action. A compelling vision brings you to life. It's not something you can ignore. When you think about it, you feel energized, purposeful, and deeply motivated. But how can you create such emotion? One of the most effective ways is to tie your vision to something beyond yourself. If your vision is solely about personal gain, it won't carry the same weight. But if it includes impact, if it helps others or contributes to something larger, it gains meaning and power. Look at the individuals who changed industries or left a lasting mark. They weren't only chasing personal milestones. Their visions went beyond self-interest. They aimed to influence lives, build something that would outlive them or change the course of things for the better. This bigger picture gave them strength that personal ambition alone can't provide. It made them relentless. It drove them with a level of intensity that others rarely match. So ask yourself, who else benefits if your vision becomes reality? Who is uplifted by your success? Who is affected if you fall short? When your vision includes others, hesitation fades. You stop postponing or making excuses. It no longer feels like a personal project. It becomes a mission. Every step forward means progress, not just for you, but for those depending on you. That kind of purpose fuels automatic action, reduces resistance, and makes giving up unthinkable. Still, a powerful vision also needs to feel right to you personally. It must align with your core self. If your vision is based on outside pressure, what others expect, what looks impressive, it won't sustain you. External motivation lacks staying power. The fire that keeps you moving must come from within. Your vision must be something you truly want, not what you think you're supposed to want. So reflect. Is this vision truly yours? Does it excite you, or are you chasing a goal out of obligation? If your vision doesn't align with your inner values, the energy needed to pursue it will quickly fade. But if it resonates deeply, if it speaks to who you are, you'll discover a source of strength and determination you didn't know you had. Even when faced with challenges, you'll stay committed. That's the power of alignment. When your vision is clear, emotionally charged, and aligned with your true self, you no longer need to force action. At that point, action becomes the natural byproduct. Your vision stops being a thought. It becomes part of how you live. It isn't something you think about occasionally. It becomes part of your behavior, your routines, and your habits. Because a vision that stays trapped in your head will never produce real outcomes. It must become part of your daily life. Many people wait for perfect conditions. They treat their vision like a project for the future, something to work on when the time is right. They say, when I have more time, or when I'm more prepared. But this approach kills momentum. A meaningful vision demands action now, not later. It doesn't wait for the stars to align or for motivation to arrive. If you wait until you feel completely ready, you'll keep waiting. That's where most people go wrong. Not because their vision lacks value, but because they fail to embed it into daily behavior. They think of it as a future ambition, not as the guiding system for their present life. Without daily alignment, progress stalls, and without momentum, even the best vision fades. But once you begin to act, even in small ways, things change. Your mindset shifts. Your vision stops being a dream and becomes something you're building. You stop feeling like someone who's hoping and start feeling like someone who's becoming. That subtle shift changes everything. It separates those who make progress from those who remain stuck. So how do you turn your vision into something that pulls you forward every day? One highly effective method is to reverse engineer it. Instead of viewing it as a distant outcome, break it down. Start with the first action, not the full journey, just the next step you can take today. If your vision is to launch a business, what's one task you can complete right now? If your goal is to transform your health, what choice can you make today to move closer, not someday, today? Because taking action, even small action, creates clarity. You don't need the full path. You just need to begin. When you begin to move toward your vision, even with small steps, something shifts in your mind. You stop viewing your vision as a distant possibility and start seeing it as inevitable. You no longer feel like someone merely trying. You begin to feel like someone becoming. And that shift from trying to becoming is what separates those who succeed from those who never begin. So, how do you make your vision something that consistently drives your actions? One of the most effective methods is to reverse engineer it. Rather than treating it as something far in the future, bring it closer by breaking it into manageable pieces. Identify the very first action, not the entire path, just one step you can take today. If your goal is to start a business, ask yourself, what action can I take right now to begin? If your goal is to get in the best shape of your life, what decision can you make today, not next week, to move forward? Because action brings clarity. You don't need to see the whole plan, only the next step. And when you take that next step, the following one becomes clearer. Eventually you build momentum so strong that stopping no longer feels like an option. But many people get stuck before this happens. They overthink the process. They believe they need the perfect plan, every answer and a guarantee before moving. This thinking leads to paralysis. Waiting for certainty is often just another way to delay. The truth is, you'll never feel completely ready, which is why it's essential to start now. This is where identity-based action becomes powerful. Instead of only setting goals or making plans, begin acting like the person who already has what you want. Success isn't just about doing, it's about becoming. So ask yourself, how would the version of me who already lives this vision think, act, and make daily choices? What habits would they follow? If your goal is financial freedom, consider, would someone at that level hesitate every time they made an investment? Would they waste time on distractions? Or would they act with focus and confidence, thinking long-term and making decisions before they feel ready? If your goal is peak physical health, would someone in that condition negotiate each morning about exercising? Or would they simply follow through regardless of mood? Because we don't rise to our goals, we fall to the level of our habits. If your habits are inconsistent, your outcomes will reflect that. If your daily behavior doesn't align with your vision remains just a fantasy. But when you train yourself to act like the person you aspire to become, success becomes automatic. The key is aligning your identity with your actions. If you view yourself as someone who struggles, you'll behave that way. But if you see yourself as disciplined, you'll act with discipline. If you believe you always find a way, you'll show up with persistence. Identity shifts through repetition. Each time you act in line with your vision, you reinforce the belief. Each time you stay consistent, you rewire your brain for success. Each promise you keep to yourself builds trust. And when that self-trust becomes strong, giving up no longer feels like an option. This is where discipline matters most. Discipline isn't about forcing yourself to do things you dislike. It's about training yourself to take action automatically, without delay, without negotiation, without second guessing. You build discipline by honoring your own word. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you weaken your identity. You teach your mind that your intentions don't matter. But when you act consistently and follow through, you build inner strength that makes success inevitable. So ask yourself, am I moving forward or standing still? Am I taking ownership or making excuses? Because the moment you fully commit, truly commit, your vision transforms from a dream into a daily reality. A vision that drives action must be reinforced every single day. It's not enough to create your vision once and hope motivation will sustain you. Motivation fades, energy dips, distractions creep in. If you don't reconnect with your vision daily, you'll lose focus and drift. Most people let their environment dictate their attention. They wake up and instantly get pulled into distractions, emails, messages, social media. Their day becomes reactive, not intentional. They lose sight of what truly matters. In contrast, people who stay aligned with their vision build daily rituals to strengthen their focus. They don't wait for inspiration, they generate it. They don't hope to stay motivated, they condition themselves to be. This is why rituals matter. A ritual isn't just routine, it's a deliberate practice that keeps your mindset aligned with your vision. One of the most powerful rituals is visualization. Not just imagining, but mentally living your vision. Close your eyes and see it. Feel the success. Hear the sounds, experience it with full emotion. The subconscious mind can't distinguish between what's vividly imagined and what's real. So when you visualize your vision intensely, you're programming your brain to expect it. This strengthens your identity. You start acting like the person who already achieved the goal. You move with clarity. You make decisions faster. You see challenges as temporary, not defining. But visualization alone isn't enough. A vision that drives action must also be spoken. Your words shape your reality. What you consistently say reinforces what you believe. If your language is filled with hesitation, I hope this works, I'll try, you're planting seeds of doubt. You train your mind to view success as uncertain, but those who succeed speak with confidence. They say, I am becoming who I need to be, or this is who I am now. These words create certainty, they reinforce belief and remove hesitation. So consider, what words do I use each day? Are they building confidence or feeding doubt? And don't overlook the power of writing things down. There's something powerful about physically putting your vision on paper. It makes your thoughts tangible. Research shows you're far more likely to reach a goal when it's written down. But beyond the data, writing builds ownership. It embeds your vision deeper into your mind. The more you write, the more real it feels. So make it a habit. Write your vision every day, not occasionally. Repetition builds belief. Now let's address something critical, your environment. If your surroundings contradict your vision, your progress will stall. Your environment either supports your growth or limits it. You cannot thrive in a space filled with negativity, doubt, or low standards. Even the strongest mindset is influenced by its surroundings. That's why high performers protect their space. They limit negative influences. They avoid draining relationships. They filter the content they consume. They intentionally design environments that fuel their vision. So take a close look around you. Are your surroundings pulling you forward or dragging you back? Are the people in your life supportive or discouraging? Are you consuming messages that strengthen your vision or distract you from it? Because if your environment is not aligned with your vision, it's time to change it. And another essential habit is daily reflection. Many people stay busy without ever asking, am I still moving toward my vision? Am I aligned with who I'm becoming? Those who succeed evaluate their progress regularly. They ask, what did I do today that moved me forward? What needs to improve? Where should I adjust? Reflection isn't just helpful, it's necessary, because action alone isn't enough. You must take aligned action. You must consistently check that your habits, choices, and mindset are in sync with your long-term vision. Without reflection, you risk staying active but not effective. So ask yourself, am I reinforcing my vision daily? Am I building rituals that strengthen it? Am I speaking with conviction? Am I protecting my environment? Am I reflecting and adjusting my approach? Because a vision supported daily becomes unshakable. And with that kind of vision, action becomes second nature. You don't rely on motivation, you move with purpose. A compelling vision must be stronger than your excuses and more powerful than your fears. It has to pull you forward, especially on days when motivation is absent. The reality is, you won't always feel driven, you won't always feel excited, and you won't always feel ready. This is the point where most people give up. They depend on their emotions instead of their commitment. But those who bring their vision to life don't wait for the perfect mood. They don't waste time debating whether to take action. They've already decided, and because of that decision, they move forward regardless of how they feel. This is the true dividing line between those who succeed and those who stall. It's not about raw talent. It's not about being lucky. It's not even about having the best ideas. It comes down to discipline. The ability to stay consistent even when the results aren't instant. Even when progress feels slow. Even when outside noise tells you to stop. The question is, do you have the discipline to make your vision real? Because discipline isn't something you inherit, it's something you build. If you don't train yourself to act despite discomfort, despite obstacles, despite setbacks, your vision will remain out of reach. One of the most effective ways to develop discipline is to stop negotiating with yourself. Most people spend a significant part of their day in internal debates. Should I do this now or later? Should I rest or push through? But the moment you entertain these options, you allow excuses to win. Successful people don't waste energy negotiating. They've made the decision ahead of time. They act without delay, without doubt, without detours. This is the shift you must make. Train your mind to expect action. Turn it into a default, not a choice. Relying on willpower is unreliable. Willpower is limited, it fluctuates. But when you're committed, when you've already decided that your vision is non-negotiable, action becomes the only path forward. So ask yourself honestly, have I truly committed, or am I still negotiating with my goals? Am I delaying progress, waiting for the right time, or am I taking ownership every day? Once negotiation is eliminated and commitment is fully in place, everything changes. But discipline doesn't stop at taking action, it extends to maintaining focus. Every day there are countless distractions competing for your attention. If you're not deliberate with your focus, your vision will get buried under tasks that don't matter. People don't fail because they're not smart or capable. They fail because they lose focus. They start strong, but get pulled away by unimportant things. Time passes, and their progress stalls. This is why protecting your focus is critical. Treat it like it determines your future, because it does. What you focus on every day shapes your life. If you constantly focus on things that don't serve your vision, you're stealing time and energy from your future self. So reflect. Where is my focus going each day? Are my actions aligned with my long-term goals? Or am I allowing distractions to take over? True success doesn't come from doing everything. It comes from consistently doing the right things. Another critical point most people miss is urgency. Your vision must carry urgency. If you treat it like something that can wait, you'll never take serious action. The mind responds to pressure. It responds to deadlines, not distant possibilities. That's why people often only act when circumstances force them to. When a deadline is near, when money runs low, or when a crisis hits. But you don't have to wait for pressure to come from outside. You can create that urgency yourself. Set deadlines, apply pressure, create conditions that demand action. Because when your vision feels urgent, you stop procrastinating, you stop putting it off. You stop telling yourself someday. You begin to act like time matters, because it does. So ask yourself, have I made my vision urgent, or am I letting time slip by with no accountability? A vision without urgency is just a hope. A vision with urgency becomes a mission. And here's the final key element, accountability. Even the most committed, disciplined, and focused individuals face moments of weakness. No one is immune to doubt or fatigue. That's why having accountability matters. The most successful people in the world have someone to challenge them, to keep them grounded, to push them to stay true to their vision. Whether it's a mentor, a coach, or a peer, accountability is a safeguard against drifting. Ask yourself, who is keeping me accountable? Who in my life challenges me to stay on track? Who pushes me when I slow down? If you don't have someone like that, you're making the journey harder than it needs to be. A vision supported by accountability becomes much more resilient. And so let's bring it all together. A vision that inspires action must be non-negotiable. It must carry urgency. It must be protected from distraction and reinforced by discipline. It must be spoken, visualized, written, and surrounded by supportive environments and people. When all of these elements are in place, success isn't a matter of chance, it's a matter of time. A vision like this is not a casual idea, it's a code you live by. It's not something you pursue when convenient, it's something that defines your actions, your choices, your mindset. Most people fail not because they lack ability, but because they never fully commit. They're holding on to backup plans. They give themselves permission to quit, but true commitment leaves no room for exit. Have you removed your backup plan? Have you made your vision the only outcome? Have you decided that no matter how long it takes or how difficult it gets, you will see it through? Because those who create lasting success don't hope, they decide. They don't dabble, they commit. They don't talk about it, they become it. And here's one final truth. Your vision must evolve. It must grow as you grow. If your vision doesn't challenge you anymore, if it doesn't excite you or scare you even a little, then it's time to raise the bar. A vision that doesn't stretch you won't sustain your effort. It will feel repetitive. It will lose power. Your vision should push you to expand your limits, challenge your assumptions, and demand more from you than before. And the most meaningful visions are not centered only on personal gain. They're grounded in contribution. They create impact. They improve lives. They leave a legacy. When your vision is about serving others, it gains strength. It becomes unshakable. You no longer act for yourself alone. You act for everyone who benefits when you succeed. So ask yourself, who is impacted by your success? Who are you doing this for? Who needs you to show up at your best? Because when your vision connects to something greater than yourself, you'll stop looking for shortcuts. You'll stop making excuses, and your discipline, your focus, and your sacrifice will carry meaning. Yet, even with all of this, one last element remains essential: adaptability. Life will test you, plans will change, strategies will fail, you'll face unexpected challenges, and if you aren't willing to adjust, you'll get stuck. Many people abandon their vision